The Happytime Murders is directed by Brian Henson and stars Melissa McCarthy and also Joel McHale and Elizabeth Banks, and features the voice of Bill Barada, who you may remember. He's a famous puppeteer who's done like various other Muppet films. So
yeah, and Brian Henson is the son of Jim Henson,
the
famous guy who did
brought us all
Muppets.
the Muppets. Yeah. And this film,
and he also did Dark Crystal and some other.
That's true, and Labyrinth.
Yeah, Labyrinth. Yep.
And basically, this film is set in an alternative world where you have Muppets and humans living together in Los Angeles, and it basically deals with a murder plot going on where someone is killing the actors, Muppets, who were actors on this famous television show from the 80s or something called The Happytime Murders. And Melissa McCarthy and the other Muppet, Phil, who's a private investigator, are on the case to try to find out who's doing it. Now, here's some backstory. Now, based on the premise of this film alone, it kind of got me really interested because not only do you have the son of the famous guy, Jim Henson, who brought us some of the classic Muppets, but this is like kind of reminding me of this movie that came out in the 80s called Meet the Feebles, which I've never seen, but it's very kind of going with that mindset, only it's a hard R-rated version of the Muppets.
Yeah. And, I kind of liked some of the raunchiness, and I was looking forward to a more brutal and violent Muppets. You know what? I kind of like to see something like that done.
Yeah, I mean,
it's something different. It's been done before, but they go years doing that format.
Yeah, and everybody has told me, or I keep hearing a lot about this other film that came out from Peter Jackson called Meet the Feebles that came out in the 80s, which is very similar to that. Yeah. But that's one I'd have to check out sometime.
Yeah, I haven't seen it either.
When it comes to movies that use puppetry that are trying to push that hard R level, I haven't seen something like this probably since Team America.
Team America, another thing, if you guys remember a couple years ago, we had more of a Pixar-ish type film called Sausage Party that came out that gained a lot of controversy for its real raunchiness.
Yeah.
And this one started out getting a lot of controversial for using Muppets in a dirty
because
setting.
They actually, the people that were behind the Muppets, they actually filed a lawsuit based on it. Yeah. And the marketing actually poked fun of that, saying, this is not Sesame, this is all Sesame but no street, basically.
Yeah.
And then later, believe it or not, there was actually another trailer that they did where from the studio that got sued by Sesame Street. Yeah, they actually parodied that in the trailers. Yeah. So the marketing I thought was actually kind of funny. Mm-hmm. But upon seeing the movie coming out, like, it wasn't bad. I mean, it wasn't like great, but I will say I had a good time with it.
It was a good time. Flawed, but it's not bad what a lot of people are putting it out to be. It's really not that bad. In fact, if I would own it. It's not great. It's not great.
No, I mean,
but it's also not a bad movie.
Yeah, I mean, it has a lot of its flaws, but to its point, I still had a good time and I was laughing a lot throughout this.
Yeah, I did laugh too.
Yeah,
there's some pretty funny shit.
And plus so to get my pros out of the way, I can say that I enjoyed the kind of world building they did do with this because they actually do have like some really funny things with the actual Muppet type of characters in this, the puppets they'd use, because you'll see like various ones that are doing like, stuff like working out, or you have hookers and stuff like that.
Working street. I do like this alternative world. It was pretty neat what they did with it.
Yeah.
Melissa McCarthy finally wasn't annoying in a comedy.
Yeah, this is probably one of the...
Since Spy, for me.
I haven't seen Spy, but...
Spy's her best.
The last time I liked her in a movie, I think, was... this movie called St. Vincent, and you haven't seen that one, but that's the one with Bill Murray. But as far as comedies, I think this is probably her best one I've liked since The Heat, which is funny because in that one she played a cop in that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that she really shines in this. Like, she didn't annoy me like she usually does in other films, and I think that's also the fact that she's not like... Because if you notice in those other films that she does their comedies in, a lot of them are directed by her husband, and that's probably where the problem lies, because those she's doing her usual shtick, where she's, doing pratfalls and stuff. Yeah. Here, they're not, she'll say some, like,
There's some corny lines in this film from her and from some of the Muppets, but other than that, It was pretty doable.
Yeah,
it was doable
she was a lot more
on her lines.
Yeah, and she actually had me cracking up quite a bit.
I will tell you one thing that shocked me about this movie was this movie wasn't as raunchy as you think. I actually expected it to be nothing but, if you guys remember the trailer, the sex jizz where he's fucking that girl, the girl Muppet, guy Muppet fucks the girl Muppet, and he's coming all over the place and all that crap, and you think, okay, this is going to be like this type of American Pie-ish, just non-stop dirty like Porky's. Yeah. No, really, that was pretty much it. I mean, there's aside for some, some other little raunchy stuff, this movie just, it's really toned down from what I thought it was going to be.
Well, my other big pro I'll say, too, is that, I actually, this kind of goes back to Melissa McCarthy and the puppet. Her and the main puppet guy, I thought worked well together. I thought they were hilarious.
I actually kind of like the black cop too.
I did too. He was funny as hell.
He plays they have this black cop. He plays pretty much, you've seen it done many other cop movies where you have like the lieutenant walking in. God damn it. So and so and so and so. What are you guys bickering back for? You guys can get me a lot of trouble. Like Last Action Hero, that dude. Or like last year, which last year we had the only kind of funny guy last year with Chips, the main command lieutenant in that one. Yeah. But yeah, he was great. Yeah, the chief in that one. So you have that, and then you also have. I also like kind of like the way that they take more of kind of a murder type mystery plot. I do like the murder mystery plot.
I mean, it's predictable.
It's a hit and miss because one of my cons was where it goes straight. It's just a straight, just like simple plot, simple. Which was a disappointment, but the murder mystery, I wanted to see something like that.
Yeah, it had a good idea for it, but I just
don't think it
didn't execute well.
It didn't execute well.
And then it's got a good soundtrack too. They do play some classic tunes I enjoy from like the 70s and 80s and stuff. So the movie does have that as well. Now, to get some of my cons, like you were saying, the movie could have had built off a lot more of its unique premise they were going for, because it really is just a standard, by the numbers cop movie just with Muppets, basically.
And here's one that you brought. I guess I could say it's kind of a con. It could be a hit or miss of me. I would rather see it like that since they had the R rating. Alright, I like that they showed the cotton as like being a funny, hey, they got chopped in pieces and head blown off. Yeah. You see his cotton, but he was hoping to see more blood. I kind of would.
It's kind of more of a nitpick, but for me, because I've seen stuff like Team America and all that, where they push the boundaries of fucking gore. Mixed them both. Yeah, they could have mixed at least some gore in there and cotton and blood in there. That way you kind of push more of that R rate, more of that raunchiness, and kind of like over
because there are some pretty cool deaths in this. Like, there's like they're getting torn a fucking shreds.
There's a whole part where a dude gets like, I'm not going to mention like who it is, but there's a part where one Muppet actually gets torn apart by dogs. And so, they could have done so much more if they added gore.
This role could have been a lot bigger. A couple other cons I have. I kind of knew where it was going. Where the murder, I kind of knew who the killer was. That was another disappointment. It's pretty fucking obvious too. And because the problem is you start going through all the people that could possibly be. I think what the director went wrong with this one is all the possibilities is slashed out. Not even the first 25 minutes, but yet it keeps poking this one person. So I was like, okay, maybe there'll be a twist. There wasn't. It was literally that person.
And they kind of do a twist toward the end, but at the same time, it's something I kind of knew they would do.
Oh, and that's another con I have. I'm not going to say. So there's you have the killer, but then the killer has
you have an accomplice with them, basically.
But what was the point of bringing that accomplice when it was just 2 seconds? That accomplice just like it was like that was a stupid. And then the ending, towards the end, you don't even recollect whatever happened because
you don't know what happened to the person. Yeah. So it's like, okay, that's weird.
That was why bring that person. You should have just left him.
Yeah, you could have just left that person completely out. Yeah. So that was, I agree with that. So the movie could have.
It is very straightforward, and the ending was just pretty quick.
Yeah, it was a very simple print. It was a very quick climax.
I had no problem with you know, which I'm not saying I had a there's one thing I do like about when they do reveal the killer. It was something that goes back to a past.
Yeah, I actually kind of like that, but at the same time, the predictability does not work.
It doesn't because you already know, and it just pretty much just plays from there.
Yeah, so.
But other than that, I enjoyed the comedy was what kept me invested. You know, I like the bickering back and forth and the cocaine, supposedly.
That was actually one of my funniest part, where one of them is doing, it's basically like cocaine, but it's like candy, and they start doing this shit.
And you know what? That one that, like, was all cracked out, or crackhead one with the missing teeth, and found on the shore, he kind of reminded me of that one from Sesame Street, the brown one.
Oh,
I forgot the name of that fucking
something.
one.
Yeah, I remember him.
I thought it was like, is that him?
Yeah, it looks just like him. I was like,
and I noticed they did something that I'm surprised Sesame Street or Muppets didn't. You know, I'm surprised nobody didn't mention this, but in Muppets, but they had No, I didn't say Sesame Street. Cut that out. But in Muppets, I thought was pretty funny. The part where those two hookers are trying to hit up on
Melissa McCarthy.
Melissa McCarthy. If you look closely, they're made at the same frame and same material as Kermit the Frog. If you take a wig off, they look like Kermit the Frog.
Yeah, they did.
yeah.
So overall,
too bad. Could you imagine if he was able to get the real ones and use it? Though I could see them people
fucking
saying
lawsuits like crazy.
You're shitting in your dad's history.
Yeah, because the movie was trying to be an intended parody of the Muppets.
And it does do a parody because they bring up you don't have to sing or dance for the humans anymore.
Yeah. So overall, I would say that I had a good time with this. It could have been a lot better, but it's certainly not horrible like they've been. I've been
Before I saw this, people were saying this is actually the worst movie of the year. No, by far it's not.
No, we've seen far worse. But so overall, I'm gonna give this movie probably I'll give it an average Joe.
I'm giving an average Joe and a Film Freaks meter too.
So for those of you who have also seen the Happytime Murders, let us know in the comments below of what you thought about it. And if you like what you see here, you can feel free to like and subscribe to our channel and check out more of our other reviews here and at our website at filmfreaks.com. And we'll be seeing you in our next review. We'll see you later.